Thank you, Mr Chair, and I'm very pleased to take a call on the title and commencement clauses of this bill. I'll come to titles soon, but I think commencement is a good place to start because Clause 2 says commencement. This Act comes into force on the day after the date on which it receives the royal assent. And my question would be, will it? Will it, or will it be something else that we've had to pass in the meantime because of all the mistakes in this piece of legislation? So I don't think we can have any confidence that, in fact, this Act will come into force on the day after the date on which it receives the royal assent, because I suspect we may have to pass yet another amendment bill before the original amendment bill comes into force, because, of course, we only passed the original amendment bill 6 weeks ago. The body is not yet cold, it's still warm, and here we are having to amend it substantially again. And this is a record for National Party ministers, I think. I don't think we've ever had to see a bill come back to the House so quickly to be amended under urgency through all stages because there were so many mistakes and errors in the original bill, including a significant error where the minister forgot 1.7 million square kilometres of water. 1.7 million square kilometres of water, he just forgot to include that in the original bill. That was, of course, in an SOP that didn't go to Select Committee, didn't go to Select Committee at all. No public got to submit on it, no chance for public scrutiny, no chance for Select Committee scrutiny, no chance for officials to give us the information that we need. And so we're here passing this amendment bill to the amendment bill. So when it comes to commencement, I don't think the minister can have any faith that this is the actual act that will come into law, and that's an indictment on him as a minister. So when it comes to the title, Mr Chair, I could suggest that perhaps in preempting what is certainly likely to happen in the next few months, that instead of the Crown Minerals Amendment Act 2013 Amendment Bill, we could just call it the Crown Minerals Amendment Act 2013 Amendment to the Amendment to the Amendment to the Amendment Bill, and that might be somewhat closer to what we're actually going to end up with, thanks to the absolutely shambolic process that this has gone through. More questions than answers. In fact, no answers provided. The minister sits there on a $250,000 salary and won't even do his job, answering very basic questions, very serious questions about the legality of the law he is passing, about the rights of New Zealanders that are being taken away, stripped away under this legislation. The minister sits there like a dried arrangement, pretending to read his magazine because he doesn't know the answers, he's too arrogant to provide the answers, and frankly, it's an absolute outrage. The minister's simply not up to it. That's what's become quite clear from this process tonight. So maybe another potential title for the bill, Mr Chair, could be the Crown Minerals Amendment Act 2013, Passing Laws in Jurisdictions We Have No Right to Pass Laws in Amendment Bill. Because a very serious question that was raised with the minister in part 2 of this debate, a question which he has refused to answer, and that is absolutely extraordinary. I know he's trying very hard to pretend he's reading right now, but I know he's listening, and he should feel ashamed of himself, because the question was, Mr Bridges, why is it that MFAT is telling us on their website that confirming what happens under the Continental Shelf Act, which my colleague Jacinda Ardern read out in full, why does international law state quite clearly that New Zealand has no right to pass laws in the water column above the continental shelf in the high seas? No right. Why is it that when the example they give is that we have no right to regulate activities like shipping, why is it that the minister is telling us that we are able to pass laws that restrict the activities of vessels above the continental shelf? Those two things don't match up. Either we do have the right to pass laws in the water column above the continental shelf, or we don't. The United Nations and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade tells us we don't. Minister Bridges in this legislation tells us we do. He actually hasn't said it in person because he's been too busy pretending to read and trying to avoid answering questions.
No eye contact.
So which of those two are correct, Minister? Is it the United Nations and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or is it you? Simple. Any acknowledgement? No, take a drink of water. That'll chew up some time. It's simply, Mr Chair, Mr Chair, Mr Chair.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Two matters to deal with here, the title and obviously the